Your Honor, Your Worship, welcome everyone to our lovely city. Those who are from out of town, we're glad you're here. What a great night. Look at the program. Isn't this exciting? This is something that rots your socks, as my dad used to say. So welcome. And I'd like to acknowledge that we're on Treaty 6 territory tonight. So I was trained as a chemical engineer. Don't run down engineers. They're the foundation of our world. And I spent all my career in the, the biosciences, very happy career. So we desire a better country, right? Who's going to do that? You are. Not the person sitting next to you, but you. So how are you going to do that? So I'm going to give you some ideas based upon my experience. I have to confess, in my whole career, I only did one thing well. I knew what I didn't know. And with that, I was able to build relationships with and get help from expert mentors. Isaac Newton, in a letter to Robert Hooke on February the 15th, 1675, said, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Some of my giants. Richard Quittington, my research director at Labatt's, who was the founding executive director of Innovation Place here in Saskatoon. Henrik Schoenfeld. Remember John Spink, some of you, a wonderful guy? Red Williams. Who knows Red Williams? What a hero, isn't he? Ken Sauce from CSP Foods, Robert Virgo from Sask Wheat Pool, Grant Larkin. Remember Jack McFall? Do you remember Jack? What a hero. So these are some of my giants. But I must tell you, the first experience of the wisdom of others was when I was a boy from my brother. He worked on a farm just 10 minutes from our house, and I spent most of my spare time just being with him, messing about in the farmyard, playing with, milking cows and all that stuff. In 1947, early spring, we were plowing. One horse, one plow. 3 or 4 days it was, up and down, and he and I just chitty-chatting. One day I noticed something about the furrows. I said to my brother Colin, "How is it that every single furrow is straight as an arrow?" "John," he said, "it's very simple. You pick a point between the ears of the horse, and you never, never, never look back." And that's been a touchstone for me my career. So it's my belief that farming is the most noble profession practiced by mankind since the beginning of time. How many here from the farm? Give yourself a hand. Good stuff. I have met thousands of farmers in my life, and early on I learned something very important. Farmers have very sharp bullshit meters. It's true. Within 3 or 4 minutes, if you're real, they can trust you and help you. That's the key. And most real people do have good bullshit meters, don't they? So in order to build synergies with real mentors, you have to be real too. We have to be real too. So some suggestions from my experience. My favorite quote of all business quotes is Edward Deming. "Change is mandatory, survival is optional, choose wisely." But what's the worst example of that? Do you remember Eaton's? They control the retail sector across Canada. Do you remember their Christmas windows? When we took where is it now? Because they didn't choose wisely. If you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less, says General Eric Shinesky. It's true, isn't it? Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Ask yourself. In my experience, the cauldron of courteous conflict is far more constructive than the calm conceit of consensus. So speak up, be heard. There's a certain person on the political scene in this country who keeps saying, "We must work together." Yeah, but only when one strength multiplies the other strength. On the other hand, life is a classroom, as Eleanor Roosevelt said. Learn from the mistakes of others. You won't live long enough to make them all yourself. Isn't that a wisdom? Remember, knowledge is the capacity for effective action. On the other hand, modesty is a very overrated virtue, but never miss a chance to shut up. The silent parts of music are just as important as the notes, right? The biggest barrier, though, to doing this effectively is ego. So deal with it. Years ago, my late wife, Charlotte, said one day, John, there are two truths. One, yes, there is a God. Two, no, it's not you. Have you met people with their ego? Oh, save us, save us. Remember that there is no education like adversity. It is better to understand a little than to misunderstand a lot. Mahatma Gandhi said, you must become the change you wish to see in the world. I encourage you, get familiar and practice who knows the 10,000-hour rule from Malcolm Gladwell? Good. Oh, everyone else, get the book, The Outliers, or read his book. And read Built to Last, 1994, Collins and Porras. But the only thing that truly matters, friends, is integrity. Alan Simpson, the retired US congressman, said, if you have your integrity, it's all that matters. If you don't have your integrity, it's all that matters. What does that mean? Being responsible, keeping promises. If you say it, you better mean it. If you mean it, you better do it. Accepting consequences, making the tough decisions. Wisdom is knowing the right path. Integrity is taking it. Knowing where's the solution? It's in the mirror. Honesty is the absence of intent to deceive. But you see, dishonesty has become institutionalized in our country. We're told we must be politically correct. Oh, save us. It's a polite camouflage to persuade us not to tell the truth or remain silent on important topics. So, real people tell the truth and don't avoid the responsibility to speak out. So, in closing, remember this, friends, the most repulsive words in our language are, it's not my job. Go forth, slay them dragons, and build a better Canada. And remember, you plus you equals we. That's how we're going to build a better Canada. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.